Fantastic. Hey, what's going on, cartoonist? I'm Nate Fakes. Welcome to another cartooning courses. Did you like my coffee introduction there? I'm telling you, I'm trying to get a commercial to be like a coffee drinker, or I'm just waiting for these television execs to call me up about that. But in the meantime, hey, I have some content for you here today. What I wanted to talk about was something I don't think's talked about too much, because you always hear these people that, you see it all the time on Facebook and these ads or anywhere else. Like, you can do this, you can travel the world without thinking twice. You can go and just do, 50 billion things without blinking an eye. Or it's so simple to just go out and do everything, right? But what happens when you have kids in the mix? I'm talking about this because I have a 3.5-year-old daughter. She's she's going on 4 pretty soon. But, one thing I always talk about is, like routines and finding time and like doing what you need to do to get to where you want to be. If you want to be an animator, an illustrator, a cartoonist, it takes a lot of work. We all know this. There is a shit ton of work to get to where you want to go, and it takes a lot of time. So a big excuse I hear a lot is, I'm a parent. I have 5 kids. I can't do it. I don't have time. There's no way I could do it with these kids. And, I'm overwhelmed. There's this, because when you have kids, you have to take care of them, obviously. And it does, your life changes, your life changes. I've always been a very routine kind of guy, I guess, except maybe in my partying days back in the high school and college, things were a little out of whack, but for the most part I've always been really routine. And then when I had my daughter, things change. Routine, whoosh, it goes out the window. So how do you do this? How do you have a creative profession or become a cartoonist if you have children? I don't know if you are a parent or not, or if you want to become one someday. But so let's just talk about it. Things do change, okay? And, I believe, too, there's a lot of people out there that are creative types that don't even want to have kids because they're afraid they're going to interfere with their jobs or, what they're going for. Out of experience, let me tell you, it can be done. In fact, children... Well, my daughter, at least, adds inspiration to what I do. Quite a bit of it, really. And before that, too, things were rolling along also before she came about. So things can get done, though, when you have children. When it comes to routine, here's what I've done. I've always had like these, get up at 5 a.m., start writing, do this, do that. No distractions when you write. When I'm working, I try to, oftentimes turn off the cell phone and, okay. But when you have children... like my daughter, she's going to barge in the room sometime when I'm in the middle of writing like the next best novel on earth. I don't know about that, but what I'm saying. I'm writing and, you have distractions that come about and, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's like, what are you going to do? I love it when she comes in here and you do have to set guidelines. So like, there are times I need for myself and I can't have distractions. So I try to organize it the best I can by, if there's a time when she's with her friends or out of the house, I may spend those chunks of time doing specific things where I really got to stay focused. And I try to do the best I can. I have my own office here. I don't lock the door. You can lock the door, and you can set some guidelines for your kids too. Like, listen, when daddy's in there working, please don't come in. I try to do that. It's tough. If you're a parent, you know this. It's tough to tell your kids no, not to come in. And if anything else, I love exposing my daughter to cartooning and drawing and everything of what I'm up to. So it's hard for me to say no, but at the same time, I realize I got to get stuff done. So I'm pretty flexible with it, and you can be flexible or not, but I'm flexible with it. But I do set some guidelines. Like after about 10, 15 minutes, or whatever it may be, I'll say, listen, I need to get some work done, so you're going to have to go elsewhere for now. What I'm getting at is it is totally possible to be a parent and have a creative profession. Point of everything I'm trying to say is oftentimes, I talk about routine, and routine is important to have, whether you're drawing or writing, try to establish a routine. I'm not saying not to, but keep in mind a lot of times when you have kids, the routine's going to be broken. Don't beat yourself up about it. Do the best you can. Maybe if there's times in the day, when your kids are at school or, again, with friends or whatever else, you can make that time to be the productive time for when you really need to focus, and you have to have that alone time to think. Something else I will do is sometimes I will pack up and go to a coffee house or someplace and get some stuff done there. I will go outside. I will try to do what I can, but again, in the perfect world, I talk about avoiding distractions when you're doing important things like writing and drawing, but when you're a parent, you got to have that cell phone on you in case an emergency happens, something, and again, anything can pop up. It's exciting, it's unexpected, and you just don't know what's going to happen when you have kids. So do the best you can. Don't look at, again, I've heard it from people like, I can't do it because I have kids. I've heard that before with not, just with creative fields, but with a lot of things. Like I want to go do this and that, but I can't because I have kids. Yes, things are tougher when you have kids. Again, you see online like sometimes these people that just talk about traveling the world and, not really working anywhere, just, being at an adventure all across the world. And, I guess maybe you can do that when you have children, but I know it would be tough. And it's not quite the same as if you're just on your own and can just go out and do anything you want, total freedom. So things change, but it doesn't mean at all that you can't do what you want to do. And again, I find great inspiration in my daughter too. So it's like, I think you can actually accomplish more sometimes with kids. And there's a big difference with kids and without. Like some things you can do without, and some things you could do better with. Kind of depending on what you're writing about too, or whatever you're creating or doing. So that being said, this is just like a little talk to you about like, if you're considering having children and you don't, and you want to be in a creative field, I wouldn't hesitate about having children. Your life will change. Of course, you can't just, go out and do whatever you want all the time, but your profession doesn't have to be destroyed. And if you have kids and you're having a hard time trying to figure out the time and, your routine and everything, I get it. I 100% get it. Like routines are tough. What I'm getting at is you can manage the time. You can manage it. You can make it happen. Another thing I do, I'll bring this up. I do get up early in the morning, and my daughter does sleep in. So I get a lot done way early in the morning. And then by the time she's up, I'll spend some time with her, and then I'll get back to work, and she usually does her own thing. Right at her age, she gets kind of bored watching me draw and write here in my office after a while. So I want to expose her to that stuff, and I want to be, I try to be the best dad I can, but I do set some limits, and I still manage to get everything done. Sometimes it requires working later than I expected. I get up early, but you just find that the best routine you can, and if something happens, if a wrench gets thrown in it where you have you have your kids wanting to do something or something's coming up, don't worry about it. Like, don't stress about it. Just, that's life, and you can be thankful you have that opportunity to hang out with your children as well. So anyway, that's my little, I don't know if you'd call it a tip, but my thoughts on when you add children into the mix with a creative profession, whether you have kids or you don't. Either way, it can work out. It can. There's things change. This can happen not just with children, but with circumstances. With maybe times are tough and you have to work extra hours before while developing your creative career, or you have to move, or you have an illness or something like that. And that's this life. Things are gonna happen where things aren't perfect, but you can always strive for routine and adjust accordingly regarding your circumstances. So that being said, I'm gonna enjoy some more coffee and get back to work here. Again, I'm waiting on these TV execs to give me a call about sponsoring coffee drinking, but it doesn't happen. It never will. I'm a cartoonist. They don't call me for that kind of stuff. So hey, I hope you are doing well and the cartooning is going great. Whatever creative profession you're after, I hope you're killing it right now. And I will see you next time.